This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Prime. In association with Micromax. Nothing like anything.
Hi, and welcome to On Art. I'm here on a crane in Delhi's Inland Container Depot, where all these containers are covered in street art. If you can make it to see the show, it's incredible and on until March 9th. But if you miss it, no worries, NDTV Prime has you covered. Just watch our new show, Color My City, which is on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Tonight, artist Shilpa Gupta tells us the truth about life on the edges. We see a dance performance from Japanese dancer Yuko Harada, and photographer and performance artist Atish Saha tells us what it's like to embody different characters. All that and more, tonight on Art. Performance art is often seen as bizarre or it's misunderstood, but at its core, it's deeply human. Bangladeshi artist Atish Saha uses performance art to express in ways that other arts just can't do. Here, he shows us how. Performance art is radical, unusual, even uncomfortable sometimes. It's a form of art that dates back centuries, but has never quite been accepted the way that paintings and sculptures have. After all, here we see men and women embody a variety of characters. They reject narrative and force us to wait to understand the power of the process. In the case of 25-year-old Bangladeshi artist Atish Saha, it's a way to learn more about yourself and perhaps embody an alien clown in the process. Atish Saha began making art as a painter and afterward became a successful photographer and photojournalist. His coverage of Bangladesh's riots in 2013 earned him recognition worldwide. But the stress and limits of photojournalism soon began to wear on him, and Atish Saha began looking to new means of expression.
I was a photographer, so still I am. So it's like there was like certain boundaries where I was trying to provoke some thoughts and then trying to cross the limits and boundaries, and then I found the medium performance art, and there I could bring into in the art, in the space, I could bring into my soul, soul in a sense, my limits, and then I could come out from my limits.
We met Atish Saha after he put on a performance at Sunaparanta Center for the Arts in Panjim, Goa. The work was slow, then staccato, strange, and also calming. As part of his performance, he walked nearly 5 kilometers and, embodying an extraterrestrial clown, he covered a life cycle over the course of his 2-hour piece.
You know what interesting thing about performance art, you try to build one character and then it's end up being something else. You don't have the actual control of the whole situation. You thought about something, and then but at the performance you feel oh, it's becoming something else. So there are some parts of you that you don't have the power to discover in your regular life, but in the performance those things comes out, and then you know yourself more. Performance art is it doesn't deal with the real time. So for outside of our space, the time, there's nothing called time. Time doesn't exist.
What makes up performance art is a surrender to emotion and a willingness to lay bare.
I don't think everybody has that. If everybody has those drive, everybody would be doing this, but everybody is not doing it. But at the same time, there are possibilities maybe everybody has it, but they have their control and they control their insanity in a different way. Somebody will maybe eat lots of food and then control their insanity. Somebody will kill someone and control their insanity. The two like to not rule, to like cope up with the reality, how you deal with it.
But ultimately, performance art, like any art form, is an exploration of humanity. Where, aren't we all performing a little bit every day?
The familiar and unfamiliar, you make a progress of knowing yourself more. So it's like a knowing yourself.
If that made you want to see a performance of your own, then now's the time. From flamenco in Jodhpur to drums in Delhi to famous composers in Mumbai, this month is full of music. Here are your upcoming events for the week. Here are your upcoming events for the week. If you can make it to Jodhpur, Rajasthan from March 18th to the 20th, then you must go to the Flamenco and Gypsy Festival. It's an annual highlight for us. If you're in Mumbai from March 11th to the 13th, then don't miss Artie's Festival. The event brings classical composers to a contemporary audience. Delhi, don't miss the World Percussion Festival from March 5th to the 6th in Chanakyapuri. It'll be an event full of rhythm, beat, and verve. The International Yoga Festival takes place in Rishikesh from March 1st to the 7th. If you're in Delhi, do not miss the Jamini Roy show that is currently on at Dhumimal Gallery in Connaught Place. The show is only on till March 10th, and I cannot stress it enough how spectacular this show is. It includes 80 works from Jamini Roy, including some sketches that we've never seen before. The show is curated by art critic and columnist Uma Nair and is only on until March 10th. Go visit Carved Contours, Paintings and Drawings by Jamini Roy at Dhumimal Gallery. Shilpa Gupta is an artist who draws metaphors from boundaries and surfaces contradictions in the everyday. Here, she tells us about the way she challenges truths in the lines we draw.
My name is Shilpa Gupta. I work with images, sound, video, things that we see around ourselves, objects from everyday life. I'm interested in perception and the way people look at things and define them and then work around these definitions.
Shilpa Gupta is a Mumbai-based artist whose recent artwork has explored the ways that international borders are simply constructs and often full of contradiction. But this isn't quite the history or geography lesson you might expect. Through objects and interviews, she weaves metaphors of the ways that state lines are much younger than the culture that exists on either side.
Borders are part of a larger construct, which is a borderland. And that while at one hand they construct the nation, at the same time they also subvert the nation.
Shilpa Gupta's artwork is on display at Vadera Art Gallery in New Delhi. It's the first time these works have been presented in India.
I'm interested in everyday life, so if you look at the body of work and if you walk through it, the stories, I've collected stories which people have narrated over interviews, over things that have been said, things that haven't been said, things that have been recorded or things that stay unrecorded. So one is not as a projecting a opinion, but one is looking as a bystander and allowing life and allowing things which go by to inform you something about themselves.
Throughout the exhibition are displays where materials from the India-Bangladesh border are reimagined to represent the fuzzy reality of the division.
There's a kind of knowledge, a kind of history, a kind of affiliation we are comfortable with, but then there exist a lot of things that fall outside of it. So one is sort of bringing the things which are probably eliminated or not looked upon or one is not comfortable with to sort of slip into these spaces. And what you have inside is, say, a Dhakai sari which has been shredded, or you have bone china that has been crushed, or you have fog which is sort of disembodied. And why are they treated like this?
Within the confines of the gallery space, Shilpa Gupta's art demonstrates the way that life here is often spent dancing on the knife edge of the familiar and the foreign. Coming up on Art is a dance performance and more. But first, we'll take a quick break. Stick around.